Welcome to Glitches to Gold, a weekly podcast birthed from my obsession with living a successful life. It began with chasing an Olympic dream and resulted in a 30-year obsession explored through sport, neuroscience, psychology, energetics, quantum mechanics, religion, art, and beauty. Sometimes chasing and achieving external markers, and at others experiencing the absolute opposite. Yet both taught me the same undeniable truth, and I'm here to share what I have discovered in the journey of mastering the alchemy of life, turning glitches to gold and success into overflow. If you like the podcast, share the love, like, rate, and subscribe on your favourite platform. Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Glitches to Gold. I'm Jo Warwick, and I'm so pleased that you're joining me for this episode. So, today I'm speaking about faith over fear. And you're probably thinking, well, we hear this a lot. What does that mean? And I want to talk about how those moments, those incremental moments when we put our energy into doubt, fear, anxiety, anything that feels like holding us back, or lean into faith. And I was thinking about a quote from the Bible which talks about the mustard seed of faith. All you need is a mustard seed size of faith to create change, transformation, miracles, etc. To just have a mustard seed. And when those moments happen, when I feel my doubt, my fear, anxiety, those things, those thoughts that want to say it's not going to happen, it's not going to work out, people don't want me, and it's not going to, people are not going to buy, and it's not going to unfold, and blah, blah, blah. All that blah, blah, blah. Negative energy can feel like a big cloud. It can feel big. It can, if we feed it, it can grow and expand. But it always reminds me of Linus out of Charlie Brown, who's surrounded by that dust cloud. And that's what fear is like. If we feed it when it starts small, it becomes this cloud, this big dust cloud where we can't see. And if we keep feeding it, it becomes heavy and it becomes restrictive and it gets stuck in our fascia and our nervous system, which is what a lot of work, somatic work, is about, is releasing old stories and fear and anxiety and dead energy getting stuck in your body. But when we just get those thoughts and patterns that come up, we have a choice. And as I'm doing this, I'm holding my hands out. If I look to the cloud on the left, when it's a first thought, it's almost like you can hold it in your hand like a kind of black marshmallow. And if you hold to the right and imagine there is a mustard seed, and that mustard seed is a seed of growth. And it is small, but it is solid. Unlike the cloud, there is something solid. And it's that feeling of going, I can feel that. I can feel that mustard seed. I can hold it, but the marshmallowy cloud isn't really tangible. And there's a moment, whether it's going through our energy bodies, we have a series of energy bodies, so it can start as a thought, and that thought is a feeling, and that feeling moves through our physicality and then moves through our aura and moves through the full layers of our auric field, which allows us to go into our quantum field. As it moves through those different stages, it can create life, it can create an expansion, grow, and it doesn't have to be. Because when it starts in your mind, the more that you can become self-aware of those moments, whether it's starting in your mind or that it becomes a feeling and you start to feel it grow, if you can stop it and observe it, an opportunity to decide at this crossroads, do I take the path that is not tangible and I become Linus covered in a dust cloud? Now, all that's going to happen when you follow that route is you become clouded. Your brain becomes clouded. Your energy becomes clouded. You become heavy. You become confused. You don't know where you're going. Does it feed you or does it feed the cloud? It feeds the cloud. It doesn't feed you. But when we turn to this mustard seed and we decide that we're going to have faith in the unknown, we're going to have faith in ourselves, and we're going to have faith in God, the universe, life's faith in us, and we're going to have faith in love, and we're going to have faith in all that we have done and all that we are capable of doing. And we're going to choose that faith, even if that faith is the size of a mustard seed. We're going to choose faith. And we're going to make that shift and gain our power back for something that is solid, tangible as a mustard seed, but small. But that seed can be planted, that seed can be watered, that seed can be fed. If you take your energy and feed that mustard seed, it will grow into a plant. It will grow just like a mustard seed. It will grow bigger and it will be more solid and it's tangible and you can feel it. And everything changes because when you put your life force into the thing, whether it's choosing the fear cloud or choosing the mustard seed of faith, it's going to grow. But one is going to cloud you and one is going to feed you. One is going to sustain you. One is going to fill you up and give you confidence. Why am I talking about this today? Yesterday I shared my deepest fear. I've never shared it before, ever. Because I got asked a brilliant question from a friend of mine who's a coach. And she was digging deep to saying, what is my deepest story that drives me? And often you'll hear me talk about that I trained for the Olympics and not achieving my goal and learning my elite mindset and the way that I think. That's a story. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I've talked about my money story, where I went from riches to rags and rags to riches over and over again. And that story, I've talked about that story. I talk about many stories from wild swimming and all of those things. There's many, many stories. And if you've read my books, there are lots and lots of stories inside of those books. But the story, I realise, has been my deepest driver. It is not the fear of failure. It is regret. It is the fear that I will lie on my deathbed and I will regret the life that I have lived, and I will regret that I didn't get to fully express my soul, that I didn't get to fully express the potential I feel inside of me. The gifts and the talents did not go through their whole complete life experience, that they didn't get to complete, that they didn't get to fruition, and it didn't become manifested. So that I didn't get to fully live my life. And that is my fear that drives me. Now, it used to be a fear that I would let God down, that I was wasting my gifts. There are elements of my journey where I've had to go through forgiving myself for these illusions, these lies, these beliefs that have been holding me back. But that's not the truth anymore. Underneath all of that, fear, regret has driven me in a very passionate way to lean into life and to lean into faith. And every single time those fears, those illogical false evidence appearing real, fears come up, that dust cloud comes up in my mind, in my body, in my energy, I turn towards the mustard seed. And my mustard seed is now so strong. It's a big fucking tree. It's rooted and it's grounded. But even those moments when they come up, I turn to the mustard seed. I remember that it's so small. I only need to choose faith and everything changes, because my choice in this life is, in the words of Henry David Thoreau in Walden. He talks, I wanted to live deep and suck out the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put to root all that was not life. And what he's talking about in that quote is he wants to put to root, he wants to release all things that do not have life force. The dust cloud, the fears, the illusions, the falsehoods, the things that aren't real. What he's craving for is the marrow of life. And that is what I'm talking about in my regrets. I've always felt that life should be deep and fulfilling and satisfying and meaning and purpose and enjoyment and pleasure. The pure being in joy of the unfolding and flow of my soul expressing itself in alignment with my body, with my God, with my source. That is simply, as I heard Abraham Hicks say, it's just God having a good time through you. When you feel joy, it's God seeing the creation through you. Like, I love that. That the idea that I'm here to express my divinity out into the world. And that when I'm in joy, this is the sign that I am in alignment. When I feel that satisfaction, it's the sign that I'm in alignment. That when I get to my deathbed, and I should say for a long time I thought I'd be dead by the time I was 40. So I really tried to suck the marrow out of life. But now when I get to the end of this part of the journey, that I will have known that I felt satisfaction, not just because I learnt to feel satisfaction and contentment in the simple things, but that I fully expressed the desire, the power, the force within me that is divine, that wants to live and create and suck the marrow out of life, but also give the fullness of me to life, to fully give myself to life, to the creation of life on the leading edge, to lean in. Now, if you've been hearing me for the last few weeks, I've of course been talking about Braver, the upcoming challenge that is starting on the February the 9th. Tickets are officially on sale. Now, you can, if you're not in the waiting list, go and buy the tickets already. If you're on the waiting list, make sure you've seen the emails to go buy your tickets. They went on sale yesterday, and there are limited choices to join the VIPs or join the inner circle to get those extra layers of support and guidance and bonuses and working with me, etc. And you can see that all of this drives me for Braver. My driving to encourage you, if this speaks to your soul, of where you're feeding fear instead of faith, where you're not leaning in to life and the marrow of life and living your life and giving of your life force fully to that which you love. Not to everything, but to that which you love and want to feed and create. To give of yourself completely to this life as an act of devotion to your divinity, to your experience, to your God, your source divine, and to allow yourself to take from life, to enjoy it, to love it, to receive fully from life. Leaving when you end this life knowing that you fully gave it all and you received all and you left it better than when you arrived. Because you gave more than you received. Because when we give of our divinity, we are giving to the collective, we're giving to humanity, we're fulfilling our purpose. And so we leave behind way more than we could ever possibly receive. But we allowed ourselves to be fully receiving in this life, to be fed, to be satisfied, to be pleasured, to enjoy, to love, to connect. That full openness, the marrow of life. So if this speaks to your soul, Braver is the place to come, because this is the energy of what we're talking about, with the fire horse energy, with the energy that is arising, with the shifts that are going on. If this speaks to you on a soul level, on a human level, then you're in the right place. And you can go grab and sign up, buy the tickets and sign up and join us for those 30 days of absolute immersion in this passion to lean into your life, to lean into your divinity, to lean into receiving, and know when to act and how to act and express, fully express. Because Braver truly means allowing and having the courage to let your life actually reflect in tangible results the fullness of who you really are on the inside. Let me say that once more. Braver is allowing your life to actually reflect in tangible results the fullness of who you really are on the inside. I know, absolutely, this is right for you. Now, you can also, of course, grab the free audio series, Riding the Fire Horse audio series, this private little podcast I've created just to really help guide you over this year of leaning into this fire horse energy. And they interlink, of course. This free audio series will get you started before the Braver challenge. This is a place to go. I am sending you so much love. Head on over to www.glitchestogold.com. You can head to joewarwick.com, or you can come and connect with me, and you can find the links in the bio if you head to Instagram or Facebook at the Joe Warwick. You can find me everywhere. I am sending you so much love. Have a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and I look forward to connecting with you inside of Braver. And I wish you to lean in, have the courage, be braver, to take the marrow of life, and to most importantly choose faith, not fear.